My name is Lara Durben. I am the Communications Director and the Assistant Executive Director of the Minnesota Turkey Growers Association and several other poultry organizations that we run out of our office here. The Minnesota Turkey Growers Association is an advocacy, a nonprofit association. We work on behalf of our turkey farmers and turkey companies in Minnesota in a number of different areas. We work very hard on government affairs, both in Minnesota and in the Washington, D.C. area. We track all those legislative issues that are important to our farmers and our turkey company members. We also track the regulatory agencies and work directly with them on any rules and regulations that are, key and important for our farmers to be aware of. We work in a lot of different communication areas, both externally with stakeholders and influencers and consumers in general regarding the turkey industry, but then also internally with our members to make sure that we're communicating with them on everything that we do that they need to be aware of. Some other areas that we work on include education for our farmer members, what they need to do in order to do their jobs better, and then also we fund really critical research for turkeys in turkey health and nutrition and those kinds of things, and then also promotion and marketing just generally to consumers and influencers about turkey and eating turkey all year round. So my role as communications director of our organization runs a huge gamut. If you work for a nonprofit association especially, you wear a lot of different hats and work in a lot of different areas. But my focus on communication runs from the more traditional, what we would term traditional communications. We have a monthly magazine for our members, and I write and I edit and I even sell advertising for that. I do all the layout on my computer. I have a Mac and use InDesign and Photoshop and Illustrator, all of those programs. So that's a monthly project for us. But then we also do a lot via digital and technology. So we do a weekly email newsletter to our members where we try to encapsulate really what's happening certainly in our office and the projects that we're working on, but also what's going on in the poultry world, kind of all across the world, literally internationally. So we try to pull some of those news snippets and just give people a taste of kind of the week in poultry, if you will, for that email newsletter. I also work on a lot of different marketing pieces for various events and conventions that we do. So that can be laying out a postcard that we send out. It can be an e-blast about a convention education piece of a convention that we're working on. And then, of course, just day-to-day, it's website maintenance and management. It's all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and all of those key platforms. So my day really is kind of crazy, but a lot of fun. So even like, for instance, today I was updating one of our websites. I'm working on an e-blast for a convention we have coming up in March. I'm working on, I'm filling in a little bit and doing some membership and answering some questions about that. It's a huge variety, and that's why I love it so much. I'm constantly learning, and I love how we try new things. We love to utilize technology, and it allows me to, I think, still hone my writing and to do sort of those key classic pieces of communication that I love, but do some other new fun things too, and get out there in social media and do website management. So it's pretty fun, and usually my days are, wide open crazy, but that's how I like it. When I started, I literally had, any design work was on a board in front of me where I printed, pieces of paper and cut and pasted text to, put it in the design that I wanted. I mean, it was crazy. And then it, morphed, obviously, really probably pretty quickly when you think about how the world has changed, but morphed into using InDesign in some of those fancy programs. And so where 20 years ago, our monthly publication probably took me 2 weeks, generally just to get it all done and get it to the printer, and then I had to get the proof back in paper form from the printer. Now everything's done in probably 48 hours. I can just like whip it all together and send it off, and we're good. So it's learning that, but it's been really fun to see that progress. For our industry, certainly we just keep moving toward just more and more digital, communications. It's interesting. I think agriculture people don't realize actually how important technology is and how farmers really embrace technology in their everyday lives. But we've seen in our end that they still like some of the more traditional like paper pieces, but they also appreciate those email blasts and those quick texts that maybe we send that they on information that they need. So to me, I think we'll probably keep shifting away from more paper, and just do a lot more, keep doing that digital work. Video obviously is, I think, really grown for us in the last, for sure, 5 years. We've done a lot more video. So that we can get into the turkey barns and show people what's going on. The technology through Facebook Live and using some of kind of that stuff where literally we can just like get into a barn in real time and talk to a farmer. We never could have imagined that, obviously 10, 15, for sure 20 years ago. So we're just going to do more of that, and I think it's a great way. I think there's just going to be more of that happening so that we can really connect consumers with their farmers. I mean, even if they can't be there on the farm that day, they can watch and they can be there in real time digitally. So that's cool. For me as a communicator, and I've seen a lot of things happen over the last 20 years or so in my career, the skill of good writing, of good storytelling is as important now as it was 20 years ago, and I think it will continue to be that way. I think for students looking ahead to future careers in agriculture and especially communications, they need to keep writing and keep honing their writing skills. When I look at how I write on a daily basis, I mean, some of it is, it's more of your traditional article for our magazine, for instance. We have a blog, so I'm, writing a blog post. And then, of course, there are some of the newer technologies, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, that require, a little bit different way of writing. But, honing those just good, clear writing skills will suit you so well and will take you far. And when I look at what we do as an organization, every topic, every role, every pillar that we have, whether it's government affairs or research or promotion or education, all of those require communications, and pretty much all of them require writing at some point in some form. So I cannot stress enough the importance of good writing. A couple of pieces of advice I would give to students looking at agriculture communications is, take some chances and maybe consider jobs, careers that perhaps at first you're like, I'm not quite sure that's for me. Sometimes you just have to take a chance. That is actually exactly what I did 23 years ago. I took a chance and came to work for Minnesota Turkey and could never have envisioned where this job has led me through my career. And it was the best decision I ever made, and it certainly was something that I thought might be a year or two, kind of more temporary until I move ahead. But really, this job has gotten me so many places and has honed so many different skills. So take some chances. Don't be afraid to look at a job or a career that maybe you didn't necessarily think was for you.